Breaking the rules. Your rules for living affect your emotions in two ways. Firstly, they create threats. The threat of fearing you may be about to break your rules creates feeling of anxiety. For example, you may feel threatened by the thought that you might not make a deadline at work, or that a new person you just met did not seem to warm to you. Secondly, once you know for sure you have confirmation that your rules have been broken, you missed the deadline, you found out the person you met did not think much of you. It's likely you will experience a different kind of emotions, such as sadness and feeling low. Both threats and confirmation can be either big events or small everybody happenings. Either way, the end result is that your bottom line feels more real than ever and your self confidence takes another knock. As we discussed earlier, at first your rules for living can seem like your best friend, but it's toxic friendship that in the long run does you more harm than good. Unhelpful and unrealistic rules may you jump through hoops by placing demand on you that are impossible to meet, such as being perfect at everything you do, being liked by everyone you met, always having control your emotions, or never revealing the real you. Letting your rules control your life means you are living on a knife edge. You can't win with these rules, it's simplify impossible. So your natural self-confidence take knock after knock, and your bottom line remains alive and kicking. Living by the rules is why certain situations seem to have profound effect on you while they barely register with other people. Having a neighbor call into you call in to see you before you have had a chance to clear breakfast dishes away may upset you for the rest of the day. If your rules for living include being always considered, organized, and in control, or you may fret for weeks over having to ask a friend to return a book they borrowed from you, which they have simplified, forgotten about. If your rules include having to be liked and approved of by everyone, your reaction to what could be viewed as a totally inno- innocuous situation may seem silly, over the top, or irritating to people who don't hold the same bottom line. In some cases, the event which have triggered your bottom line seem to inconsequential. You hardly notice them. You have left with your feelings turned up or mild sense of anxiety and no real idea what caused it. You may simplify tell yourself to pull yourself together, seem reassurance from good friend or partner, or try to suppress the feeling with comfort, food or bottle of wine or your favorite trash TV shows. It's time to tune your awareness into patterns like this to unearth what triggered them in the first place. Avoiding thoughts about anxiety in inducing events and feeling is an understandable protective mechanism. But it's only by doing the opposite and putting a big mental aesthetics on the everyday situation you find challenging or threatening that you will begin to understand why your bottom line is still going strong. By becoming sensitive to your changes in mood, you will develop a kind of early warning system that alert you to situations that are following your bottom line and crushing your self-confidence. By observing the thoughts, feeling and behavior that follow these situations, you can stop the cycle that keeps your bottom line activated and stop it in its tracks. Take a few moments to reflect on the week that's just passed. Can you pinpoint any moment when you felt anxious, ill at ease, or uncomfortable with yourself? Scan your memory for moments or doubts or panic at your ability to cope or to do something well. Look for times when you seem plagued by niggling worries about what other people were thinking about you, or when your critical inner voice seemed louder than normal. Jot down as much detail as you can. where, when, why, and how the situation occurred. Now, can you spot any patterns emerging that might hold clues to your rules for living? Could that mix of guilt and anxiety you have felt at not meeting are probably unrealistic? Your deadline suggests that one of your rules for living is that you must do the right thing at all times to be seen as good enough. That not making a deadline must be your fault rather than someone else's bad organization or unrealistic expectation. Did your sense of panic at discovering that one of the two friends you were meeting for lunch has cancelled suggest that you feel you are not interesting enough to be such subject of one person's sole attention for whole hour? Writing down the ideas about yourself that came into your head at those moments can give you valuable insight into your bottom line.